We'll start with stretching some of the larger muscle groups that support our hips. We'll use a chair for the first two stretches. Bring your right foot up on the chair, your hands either at the top of the chair or on your knee. And then to your own degree, to where it's comfortable, start to drop your left knee towards the floor and bring your belly and your chest back away from your right thigh. After a few breaths, switch to the other side. The pose is easier with your hands on top of the chair and starts to become a little bit more work when you place your hands on the knee. Allow the right thigh to drop into the floor and feel the stretch start to move from the top of the thigh up to the hip flexor. Now switch sides to work on the opposing muscles. We're going to go a little bit deeper into the quad, into the psoas and the inner thigh. Place a blanket on the chair if it feels too hard. Start placing your right foot up on the chair and then start to walk your way back towards the chair. Your left foot stays exactly where it is. Think you're moving your right hip back towards your right heel without moving the left leg from where it is. The degree to which the hip is open, the quadricep is open, you'll find you can go further back or need to stay away from your heel. Switch the side, come into a lunge position, and start to walk your left hip back towards the left heel. As the muscle opens and gets some length, you might find that you can go deeper and go further back. Breathe. Experiment with whether having a wider lunge gives you more sensation or a shorter lunge gives you more. And of course, vice versa for the amount of sensation you can handle. Come on up into standing and just take a few breaths, allowing your body to integrate. The next pose is a dynamic wide angle lunge from side to side. Now this can stay high up with your hands on the hip, just keeping the feet parallel and moving from side to side, or you could bring your hands lower to the floor, maybe even to 2 blocks if you need to, and move from side to side without letting the outer arch of each foot come off the floor. Then hold it down at one place for a few breaths, and then on the other side for a few breaths. Your hands could be on a block for a higher lunge on the floor, or you could even be down on your elbows, letting the weight of your pelvis and your hips drop into the floor. Just a few breaths each side without lifting the other foot off the floor. Come back to the center for a few more dynamic lunges and then come on up to standing. Toe heel, the legs together. Come and lie on your belly, setting up for frog pose. Imagine you're going to take a open knee child pose and then bring your heels and your ankles in line with your knees. Start to move your weight forward, allowing the pelvis, the hips to relax into the floor. Make sure that that right angle between the ankles and the knees stays as you find your way further into the floor. You might need to just stay in your hands if there is enough going on in the inner thigh, in the inner hip. This can be quite a bit of rotation in the hips. So find somewhere that you can enjoy the pose for a bit. We're going to start to go a little bit more into the rotation by lifting the right ankle up, dropping the right hip, and then doing that same thing on the left. We're rotating the hip inwards, dropping the hip while trying to bring your ankle on top of the knee on each side. Just a single breath, a dynamic movement, ankle on knee if possible, hip, pelvic bone trying to drop into the floor. After a few each side, come on up and bring the legs together. take a child pose to integrate. Come and lie on your back. We're going to do thread the needle with a little bit of a variation. Right ankle on the left knee, bringing the left leg in, straightening the left leg, pulling the leg in, and then alternating with the bent knee variation. Inhale, pull in, exhale, release to the bent leg variation. Just keep pulling that hip inwards while trying to open your right knee and your right thigh. After a few times, hold it there with the legs straight, bringing your right shin as deep into your pelvis as you can. If you're very open, try taking your hands to the bottom of your foot, bringing the forehead up to the knee, and driving the leg inwards into the forehead. Try that on the other side. Start with a dynamic flow connected to the breath, legs straight and then leg bending. Keep working on opening through your left knee and your left thigh, trying to bring your left shin as close to your chest as you can as you use the push of the right leg inwards. Then holding the straight leg variation, maybe going deeper into it if your body allows. And release. Hug the knees to center, and then place the feet into the floor. Relax for a few breaths.